What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Hyperdrive, new show on Netflix. It's basically if you were to take like a video game where you race race car, like there's different cars you could choose, and you go on this course, and it's like a mixture of like drifting and obstacles and like kind of crazy things that you make your car have to do. And it's a competition. But if you were to take that video game and like turn it into like a reality where there's like real people who drive cars and there's like different types of cars and they're in a competition, like that's what the show is. It's a fun show. I heard about it mainly from Michael Bisping, who's one of the commentators for the show, former UFC champion, host of the Believe You Me podcast. But he mentioned that he was on the show, and I check it out. I'm, also a fan of. I loved playing the like car video games. I love more so the realistic ones like Forza or Gran Turismo, where you could buy real cars and like they would kind of perform and handle like real cars, but then you can get like upgrades, and it was a driving simulation basically, where this is more an arcade game. Like you're sitting in the the plastic bucket seat, and you got your fake little gear shift that does nothing, but you got your pedals and the steering wheel, and you're playing these crazy courses that involve like doing different tricks with the car. It's kind of like what this is, but in real life. It's just so much fun. Such a fun show. Like, I watched, binge through the entire first season. Hopefully Netflix brings it back. It's just, like, conceptually, it's kind of like Charlize Theron, who's one of the executive producers, said it was a mix of American Ninja Warriors and Fast and the Furious. So it's kind of has that feel, competition. It's as far as driving goes, I'm not a fan of watching NASCAR or any of the standard driving sports that are out there. But because this one's more of like a video game, it's just like an extra level of fun, and just the characters involved. So it's like you get to know the different drivers, the different cars. The commentators are great. In addition to Michael Bisping, there's another guy. I want to say his name is Mike Hill. I could be wrong on that, but he's well knowledged about cars. Oh no, it's Rutledge Wood. He's only in 5. No, maybe that's not him. But one of the commentators is really knowledgeable about cars and racing. So it's like you get the kind of the background of somebody who's been successful in a like an athletic kind of endeavor, and then you get a guy that's well versed in cars and how different cars will react to the different obstacles in the show. Yeah, it's just each driver takes their car through kind of crazy obstacles where they have to like slide the back end of their car to hit these like arms, these targets that are on the end of arms. There's a lot of drifting. They have to do like maneuvers within confined types of spaces. Like one of them is one where they drive forward, they hit the target, and then they have to go in reverse down a row of like these neon lights, and they have to pull U-turn. I forget what the actual term is called, but they have to flip the car around in like this small area, expanded area, and then drive through. And there's a bridge, this teeter bridge that gets involved. There's a water portion of the course that fucks up some cars because they, water gets into the engine and whatnot. It's just all kinds of different obstacles within these courses that challenge the different cars in different ways, challenge the drivers in different ways. There's a guy that brings his Ferrari was Ferrari or Lamborghini, to try and do it, and it's like trying to drift this supercar is just ridiculous. But then you get to see how it performs on the straightaways, and it ends up being very competitive comparatively to a lot of the different cars that show up. But yeah, it's just such a fun show. It's such a fun show. So it's like after each episode, I mean, there's a ton of drivers, and they have like I don't know, like the different. I don't really get the breakdown of how people get eliminated. But over the first few episodes of the season, it's all about kind of thinning out the herd and figuring out who moves on and who doesn't. And each time the course changes, so it's fun. So each episode has a different course, and then once it gets into the higher rounds, the course, of course, gets more and more difficult, and gets set up in different ways, and just like the types of things that these drivers have to do towards the end of the season are like so much more like advanced than when they first started the course. So like I binged the whole season and then decided to go back and rewatch like the first few episodes or whatever and just throw it on. It's a fun show you could just like have on in the background, If you want to sit and watch the thing, you'll be able to follow the different storylines of the people that move on. I mean, it's one of the advantages of a tournament is that you kind of get to learn about the different competitors as they go through the tournament, and by the end, you kind of find your people that you want to root for, and you can watch it that way where you're following all the different drivers through, or you can just throw it on in the background. So I threw it on in the background first few episodes, and it's amazing how basic the things were, the different competitions and obstacles that they had to complete were in the beginning of the series and season versus the end. Like there's a thing where in the beginning where they go up on this bridge that like is a teeter-totter. And they have to, in the beginning, the first few courses for the first elimination legs, they just drive up, and then they have to stop as close as they can to the edge to kind of give the biggest amount of leverage for the car to tip the bridge down. So the closer you get, the faster it'll all happen, and you're just saving time on these timed tracks. And then towards the end, they have to drive up and they have to balance it within a smaller and smaller range of difficulty. And then towards the end, they even have to they off balance it, so it's not even balanced the same way. And it's like towards the end, these drivers are just flying up on this bridge and just like perfectly centering it and then bouncing out. Like the exponential difficulty that they go through in these tasks is just, and they're doing these tasks that are far more difficult in a lot of cases with cars that have been compromised over the course of all of these different competitions, because like these cars are like just falling apart because they're being driven so hard. But it's just a lot of fun. It's fun to see the different cars. It's fun to see the different drivers. The competitions are cool. The only thing I wish they would do is just blow it out even more with lights, because it's filmed at night, and they have a lot of lighting that kind of gives it that video game feel. They need to do way more neon lights. Just fuck the entire place up with tons of lighting, bright neon lights like they used, but just like 10 times as many lights, and then it would be an even better show, I think. You'll be able to see things better. But I enjoyed the entire series, top to bottom. Hopefully it comes back with another. I don't see why not. It's just a one of a kind. It's like esports, but in reality, in a lot of ways. Hyperdrive on Netflix. Check it out. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my original artwork over at InspiredDisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS. at Ray Taylor for me on all social media. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out.